what are the terminology or the main concepts that we usually do in AEM can be covered actually. So, history of AEM. So there was a guy, David Muesler. So he was a founder of Day Software, which was in Switzerland. And AEM was initially the project in Day Software, which is founded in 1993. So what happened is they wanted to implement a CMS, content management system, so which where the content can be managed by authors. So they wanted to implement such a project, and initially they started it internally, and they have implemented this tool as Day Communic, because it's the company name is Day Software. They just started its name as Day Communic, and such, and with along with some APIs like JCR1, JCR 2.0. And this JCR is an acronym for Java Content Repository. You will be coming to know one by one going forward. But you just remember JCR as Java Content Repository. I'll explain what is Java Content Repository in the next slides. And later on, this day is acquired by Adobe Systems in July 2010 for $240 million. That's just a brief about AEM history. It's like who is the founder and where it has been started, and what the specifications that implemented as part of this Day Community, and what is when that is acquired by Adobe. So these are a few things about AEM. And the naming conventions, like when they started, it was Day Communic later on. So as long as the versions are changing, something like in Java, right? So we have Java 1.8, the latest version. So as the new technologies, as the new concepts or new implementation being added to any technology, the versions, they will change the versions and they will release it. So the similar way, so they have released the product in different versions, adding some new features and all. So it is the flow. What is the name we exactly called during the years on the product versions, like CQ and then Adobe CQ, and now we are into AEM 6.2 in 2016, and this year probably they are going to release one more version, 6.3 beta actually. So it's not released; it's going to be released. It's just the products they released, the product versions they released, and what we used to call them in the after the release actually. It's just about the namings what they provided for the products. And what is AEM? See, basically, what is AEM is just the abbreviation wise, it's Adobe Experience Manager, but it is a tool of content management systems actually. So basically, if you just carefully listen, this content management systems. So content management system means the content can be manageable by a system. Like if you go to any website, suppose you have any website, like you can go to Flipkart. Let's take a Flipkart or Amazon. So what happens? So there will be lot of changes. Like you have Amazon website. So you go into that, you can see lot of products available there. You can purchase them. So like that, there are a lot of operations lot of things can be done in Amazon. At the same time, as the days to go, so there will be lot of new products to come, and there will be all those products to be added to the site. So if they wanted to add the content or whatever, the new products to the site, they definitely need developers. So they definitely need developers, and everything should go into code, and then that should be deployed onto the servers. So it's a heavy process actually. So in such cases, the product like Adobe Experience Manager, once the website is developed, then there is very less need of developers, because once any website is developed using Adobe Experience Manager, they can author. I mean, authoring in the sense they can add, delete, modify, whatever. So just remember the term authoring. So they can add, they can delete, they can modify. So once the website is built, the developers need is very less actually. So they can add the products to their site. They can delete if they want. They can modify the content on a page, the product details on a page if something went wrong. So all things kind of things can be handled by AEM. So that is the benefit of AEM or any CMS. Like there were team site, site code, some Drupal CMS. But Adobe has some demand in market because it is providing some other additional features also. So, and also the best part of Adobe Experience Management is uh, it is faster to development. It's faster development. It is faster in development, and we can easily deliver to the customers. And also, it has a lot of built-in features like CQ Analytics. You might have heard CQ Analytics. If not, I'll explain you. Targeting the personalized content. When you go Amazon or Flipkart, so you will be opening a site, and once you log into a site, usually you will see, you just go through some products, you may like them, you may add them to your wish list or something like that. But when you view some product, like suppose you have viewed 4 or 5 products, so when you again log in, or if you log in into your Facebook account or somewhere, based on your login and your views on a particular product, you will be able to see the ads related to that particular products, either in Facebook or when you log in into the Amazon account. So if you log into Amazon account later, so it will show your recently viewed what the products, or maybe if you go into a new tab and open our Facebook account, and the Facebook account and your LinkedIn account or this Amazon account are using the same API, then in your Facebook you will get some ad related that you have actually. So can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, fine. So, like that actually, that is what analytics part actually.
One second, RK.
Yeah.
There was some question raised by one of the participants in chat. Can you please check it?
Yeah, there are actually. The other content management systems are, site code, team site, and Drupal CMS, like that actually. So, but here in AEM, it has some additional features and support Adobe cloud support. So it is providing some external advantages. That's why we may go into AEM actually. Just remember team site and site code, Drupal CMS, and I think open text is also there. And what is the advantage of this AEM is, like I said, so targeting the content, like CQ analytics. There are some analytics part. So based on your login and your interest on a product, so you will be given the targeting content. So when you again log in, so you will be able to see the products you have recently viewed, and also if the, if there are any other products related to the product you already viewed, it will show all as some options in any of the place in a page actually. So they will target the content in such a way based on your login. So that is one of the best concepts in AEM actually. So like that, it has a lot of features. So
Can you repeat the last feature?
this analytics part.
Yeah, the last feature that you just described.
Yeah. So basically, you might go into Amazon account, right? So when you go into Amazon account, so you will be interested in some products. So you will basically view. So when you log into Amazon account, so your credentials will be stored in this system. And when you view some product, based on your clicks or based on your use on any product, internally they will capture all those details, where you viewed, which product you seen, how many times you have seen that product, and wherever you move, where and all the places that you have moved the cursor on a page. So these all analytics, we call them analytics, some inputs actually. So they will calculate all these things internally, and when you log again into the Amazon systems, then they will show the products related to the particular product you have viewed already. They maintain all those analytics internally. So that is one best part of AEM. So analytics, there are Google Analytics also, but in AEM, it is internally providing that part. So that is one advantage of AEM. And if you are, suppose you have actually, since it is a part of Adobe Cloud, when you open up with your Facebook with the same email ID and the credentials, you may get, it's not, I'm not confirming that you will get, you may get the ads related to the products that you have viewed in Amazon. If you open those two accounts in the same browser. So such a things, some analytics part actually. So they will capture your interests in the backend, and they will target the content related to those products to you. Hope it's clear.
Yeah, it's clear.
And if you see, I'll just listed a couple of major corporations that are using AEM. There are a lot of corporations using AEM tool, but I just mentioned two like this DSW, Fossil, Deloitte, Halliday, and Success Factors, a lot actually. So if you can Google the products of the websites that are using AEM, so you can see some list, you can find some list. And also, like I said, AEM is a component, it's a tool of Adobe Marketing Cloud. So basically, Adobe Marketing Cloud is a suite which has a lot of features like Adobe Target. See, this is Adobe Target. What I mentioned, this targeting content and analytics, the component. Just to remember these names, but we are not going to deal with all these things. But we have Adobe Marketing Cloud. It has all these features, whichever you can see here. And Adobe Experience Manager is one among them actually. So now we'll be learning AEM, the architecture. So if you have any questions, probably you can ask. Because whatever so far you have heard, so you might be having some questions you can ask. At the end, you may forget before going to the architecture.
There was one more question raised in chat, Ramakrishna. Can you please check it?
Yes, it's Nagarjuna. It's a part actually. It's just a JavaScript, and technically speaking, it's just a JavaScript. There is a script like Google Analytics. For Google Analytics, if you see, there is a JavaScript integration in the code. Like that, CQ Analytics is also JavaScript, and it is part of AEM. We can use it actually. Is it what you are expecting or okay? No, actually, we don't want to. We don't need to worry about it. So there will be other team for analytics. So analytics team is different and AEM development is different. So for AEM developers may need to develop JavaScript a little, like some Ajax calls, some small things actually. In jQuery, if you see jQuery, so there will be few things, very small things. Those can be developed by AEM developers, but the analytics part is not definitely not going to be worked by AEM developers. It has a separate team and it's altogether a different domain actually. Is it clear, or do you have any other question on this? Nagash? No. It doesn't mean that we have to make Ajax calls for analytics. Analytics is a different part, and which has there will be a different team for analytics. After our AEM development, they will integrate analytics part into our AEM. So that's different. But during AEM development, during our part of development, we may need to use some little JavaScript like jQuery. But don't mix analytics is also just JS, but don't mix JS and analytics. That is a different one. This is a AEM developers. For AEM developers, it's good to know JS. That's all. Any more questions in this? Okay, let's move to architecture. Yep. Okay. See, this is a typical architecture. So of AEM, I'll just walk you through all these concepts, whatever there in architecture. Like you can see the JRE, Java Runtime Environment, Servlet Engine, and there's observers optional, CRX content repository, Sling content delivery, AEM modules, custom application modules, OSI framework. So it is a typical AEM architecture where uh, you can see all these technologies are used to make a product AEM. Like I explained yesterday also, you might be knowing the three-tier architecture. So you might cover in your studies. So three-tier architecture, where you have a physical layer in the bottom, an application layer in the middle, and a view layer in the top. So these are the three levels. Any architecture or any system, any product, can software definitely follows that architecture. It should follow because the content can be stored somewhere. And
Can you repeat the three-tier architecture?
yeah, it is a physical layer in the bottom. One second, I'll just check. So there will be three layers. So if you see, there will be one physical layer. The naming convention may be different. Don't worry on that. Application or business layer. And the presentation layer or view layer. You can call it anything. Or something like this. So the physical layer. So Physical layer in the sense, the hardware part of any system. Like we have a database. So we have a database where we store all our data. So this is physical layer. The data, the content, whatever we have for a website will be stored physically. The existence is physical here. So the physical existence of all your content will be in the database, all your data. And this is a business layer, the application layer. Like you will be writing business logics, right? So you will be writing Java code or whatever. So you will be writing all the server-side codes. So for example, Java or PHP or .NET. So that code you write using Java or .NET or PHP. So anything, that may be any technology that you can work on top of this. So you will work on this. So basically, see, so in the physical layer, you have all the data. So to perform your operations, to retrieve the data from the database, from the physical layer, you will be writing your business logic in application layer or physical business layer. So you may need to use any one of the technologies like Java.NET, PHP, or whatever, any other technologies that can be used to retrieve the content from physical layer. Once the content is processed, once the data from the database is retrieved or processed in a way you want using the business logic, then it will be presented to it will be given to view layer. So that will be given to view layer. So here what you do is you will use HTML, CSS, JS to present the layer, to present the data to the user. When you hit any website, you can see a web page which is organized right, left, right, bottom, top, anything, any website if you go and open, the images, left side, sub, whatever, all the content is placed in their respective places, which is done by HTML, CSS, and JS. So you will be basically logging into in your account. That login screen is built using HTML, CSS, and JS, which is a view layer or presentation layer. So once you log in, so there will be a service going into live. A business logic will be written for the login authentication. It goes inside and it takes the business logic. So whatever the username password you pass, that will be taken by this business layer, and it performs an operation, and then it goes to database. It fetches the details, returns to the presentation where you can see your results, your logged in details, with your email account. Any typical system follows this architecture, the three-tier architecture. So the physical layer, application layer, or view layer. Physical layer is where your all content, all data will be in the system. Business layer is where you write all your business logics to write or to process your data, which is there in the physical layer. And the view layer, where you will present all the processed data. So this is how everything is organized. Likewise, hope this is clear. Probably I'll compare this with AEM. Okay, if someone can respond, probably can go.
Yes, it's clear.
So if I go to the same here, just forget about this JRE where we run our system and the servlet engine. Just take, just keep this in mind aside and just take these three. They are different actually. That's server related things. So these are the main things. CRX. Just imagine physical layer. where all your content will be stored like a database. In other systems we use, here we are using CRX content repository, where all the content can be stored and modified and deleted, and everything will be stored here. It's a physical existence, and also this CRX has some capabilities of accessing that data. And on top of that, linked content delivery. So whatever we have in the CRX, so that can be retrieved using Sling content delivery. So in the next slides, I'll be explaining more. Just compare. And AEM modules. AEM modules include what? The components and the presentation layer related things, and all those things will be there in the AEM modules. And if you come to the OSA framework, it is also comes into a business layer, and it organizes all the AEM system. Everything, all the things related to AEM can be handled by OSA framework. So I'll just explain each and everything one by one. Just remember CRX content repository here, Sling content delivery, AEM modules, and then OSA framework. This granite and custom application modules you'll be learning later because you're confused. So CRX. See, its CRX stands for Content Repository Extreme. So it is basically an implementation of JCR. So CRX system member content repository extreme, where we store all our content. So in AEM terminology, everything that on a page is called content. We use the terminology content instead of data or some other things. The terminology we use content. So all the content is stored in CRX. CRX stands for Content Repository Extreme. EXTRM. So, and it basically has one specification called JCR. So this JCR is an API. Just API, API in the sense there is one API for collections, Java util. So that has all classes and interfaces that we may use for our development. Like that, for CRX, we have a JCR standard Java API for content repositories. Content repository, this is the CRX, we call it content repository. So for CRX content repository, we have a JCR standard Java API, and it provides an interface for Java applications. Like if you see this CRX interface, then you will be clearly understanding. I'll show you. So basically, we have a CRX, which is called content repository, where we store all our data. Like just compare this in your minds, just compare it with the physical name. So we'll store everything there. And then for accessing or for processing anything of CRX, we have JCR's API. So we use JCR API to access, to see actually. It will not perform any operations, business operations. This it provides an interface to interact with the content. Like if you see, if you open any folder, so you will see all navigation. Like if you go to any of this is an interface. Just imagine this is an interface. Suppose if you consider all this is stored in a CRX, you can say this like this. So if you can go to some projects, and you can go to some this. So this kind of accessing and interaction, this kind of interaction can be performed in the CRX, and for that we have a JCR specification. And it's nothing but a CRX. In this content repository, you will store all your data, and you have an interface to see all those data and information. And on top of that, you have one Apache Java-Rabbit open source content repository. If you see the second one, so that is Apache Java-Rabbit. It is also an open source content repository implementation. And JCR and Apache Java-Rabbit, these two APIs can be used to access the data from CRX. CRX is a place where we store all our content. So on that content, we can perform any operations using JCR and Apache Java. Those two are APIs actually, but they will not come under the business logic exactly. That's a part of CRX only, but it provides a limited features. This the advantage of this CRX is it has the following features. So we have Apache Java, which is an open source. Like we have Apache Struts, Apache Spring. There are some concepts, right? Hibernate. So like there are some open sources. We have Apache Java also, and the commercial implementation of Apache Java is CRX, which is inbuilt with AEM. So we don't explicitly do that. The CRX comes in AEM itself, and it has the following features: the torque persisting manager, the storage manager is actually. So the way we store all the content will be stored as torque, will be managed by the torque persisting manager. List item. List item means, if you just take an example of Java collections, we'll have a list and every item we add. The same way here, everything will be added as nodes. The node is one terminology we use.
What is the difference between Apache Jackrabbit and Apache Sling?
Yes, Sling you will come that next slides.
Okay.
Yeah, you have it next.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
this start, yeah. And some clustering and LEAP integration, the authentication part, content package management. So these are all some internal features. So that can be done. That can be done in CRX. But in this, we'll be going to learn content package management. And this LDAP integration, the clustering, they're all different. That comes in DevOps. So the DevOps, that is a different administration part. So the content package management is something we can learn. We have it. And the part RPM is of storage manager. List item is the way how it stores. The Sling actually. So the Sling is also a built-in feature in AEM, and this is basically maps in simple words. It basically maps the requested URL to the content in the repository. Like I'll explain some example. See, suppose if you take this C Intel logs, when you hit this in a browser, it goes to this particular folder. So whatever that we are passing in the URL in the browser, it finds the same location and it executes the logic. So anything that is requested in the URL will be mapped in the repository in the same order. And suppose I have something like some content. Some checklists. Market. Suppose I have like this. I have passed something like this in the browser. So this is a requested URL on the browser. It may be server name. Before that, it may be any server name. It may be localhost any server name, any domain name. So I may be passing one URL like this. So the Sling, what the Sling do is, Sling maps the requested URL, this URL, to the content in the repository. suppose if you see this content CRX, so this URL can be mapped to the content in the repository. So the content will be stored in the repository like this. First this, and then market, and there. So like this. In the CRX, the content will be stored like this in a tree structure. In a tree structure. So when you hit some URL, market force Apple, so it will internally maps that URL in the repository with the content. So with this content. So it checks in this flow. If it is there, then it goes there and then it executes the business logic over. So I'll show you an example, you will clearly understand. It's just remember for no Sling maps the requested URL to the content in the repository. So it executes there. I'll show you. I'll just start a server. So this one. But if I go to directly the code and show, you may get confused, and that's what I'm thinking. Now that's it. But it basically resolves this like this actually. We have a HTTP request. The Sling. What is a Sling job means? We have a HTTP request, something like this. Some get method, some local host, any domain name. After that, wiki sling.edit.html, just take up to this. Just ignore the next part. What happens is, when you have this wiki sling edit.html in a browser, when you hit it in the browser, it first takes the wiki/sling up to the path. It takes a path and it checks whether that particular path is existed in the CRX. In the content, it checks if the same path, like I shown on a paint, something like market fruits, apple, the same way like wikisling, it checks whether that node structure is there or not. If the node structure is there, then it goes to wikisling, step number 2, content resolution. So it just resolutes the content whether it is available or not. If that particular thing is available, then it goes to that particular part, otherwise it returns a poor. So when it goes here, it is on nodes actually. In the CRX, everything is stored as a node. So in the CRX, everything is stored as a node. This wiki sling. And then when it goes there, it checks whether this node has Sling resource type. When we are talking in the concept of Sling, everything is a resource. In Sling terminology, everything is a resource. In CRX and JCR terminology, everything is a node. There in CRX or JCR Apache Java, just remember we call every content as a node. Here everything as a resource. So when it comes to content resolution, so step number 2, this is wiki sling. This it checks for node resolutions, actually node properties. Let me show you that. I'll show you. Probably that helps. See, in
How can we access this URL?
yeah, that's why I told you will get confusing without the server and all. So basically, you will come to know everything. So I just wanted to show how the data content will store in the repository and how it maps. The mapping can be done in the Sling actually. You will come to know all these things in the next, because there is a server startup, the installation process, and then you can come to know all this.
Okay.
Just assume that I have a server and I have the content and just show you how the mapping works.
Yeah.
So this is what a request we have in the URL. So I'm just taking this path and I'm going to this CRX. Here, this is a AEM product actually, the software actually. So see here, this is content geometric CM products. When you hit this in the browser, how the Sling maps in the CRX is, we go here, first slash, and then content. See, this will be shown. And after that, so it basically checks whether this is existed, and then it checks for this, whether the content is available, and then it checks for geometrics. See the same thing, the flow, and then EM, and then products. So it goes to that particular path, and this is mapping the request Sling. This is done by Sling actually. So it's mapping. Sling is mapping this requested URL to the content in the repository up to this part. The stimul is an extension, forget about it, and it comes here. All this path's content will be stored under this, where it has a Sling resource. We're talking in the terms of Sling, right? So this is just a node or resource. It will not have, it is a content. It will not have anything in that. Makes the business logic or not. But this has a Sling resource type. This is again one place. This is again one place. Again, it searches for this. Don't get confusion, just I'm adding few things. So this, it again comes in this point, whatever the resource type. So we are here after the resolution, we'll get the Sling resource type. So this is the Sling resource type, and again the Sling goes to that path. This is that path. It comes here. Here you find all your business logic related to that particular products, this location. So when you hit this location, you will be able to see all these things. To see all these things, the business logic is written here. So this is how Sling does actually in the practical. But you will be, once you start development, you will be very clear on. So the same thing happens here. Something they just took an example in the documentation. So WikiSling, it checks for WikiSling, and it checks whether the Sling node has Sling resource type. So if it is having Sling resource type, wiki page, then it goes there, and that wiki page has the script, the JSPs I have shown. This will be executed, and the output will be presented on the browser. It's a simple resolution of Sling. This is what Sling does in AEM. Is this clear? If you get got confused in any way, probably after starting the development, you will get a clear idea on this. This is just conceptual way. Hope it's clear for me. You guys are not active, it seems. Did someone please respond? This is also saying you don't understand this. I tell now. This. And it has these features, like I said, Sling is content centric. This means that, so if you read this, you will come to know. It will do the following two things. The first thing is to target the resource. Like I said, when wiki link is there, it targets whether that resource is there in the repository or not. Like it checks wiki/link in the repository. Then again, secondly, the representation. The same thing. See, the first target is the resource. So Slick first targets for the resource. Like I said, this is the path, and it targets for this resource whether it is existed in the repository or not. To here. And the second part, the representation or script is located from the resource properties. So it has the resource properties, and it goes to that particular place and executes the scripts for the presentation. This is what I mentioned. And finally, OSCI. So it's like if you just explain me, just let me explain in a brief, in a generic scenario. Basically, whenever we build any projects using Java, maybe I'm into Java, so I'll explain in terms of Java. So when you build a project, when you do a web application, when you build it, you will basically generate jar files. So all the jar files will contain the compiled version of your code, like all dot classes will be into a jar file. So that jar file will deploy to the server and it starts executing. Like that, OSA also have all the jars, but here the jars will have some metadata in addition. So the normal jar files will have only all the compiled classes, and that can be deployed to the servers in order to work. But here, any jar file plus some additional metadata, so is called a OSA bundle. And that metadata, jar file plus the metadata, what does that metadata do? That metadata has the inputs for bundle management. So jar we call bundle in AEM. Just remember the terminology. So we call a jar in AEM as a OSA bundle because that bundle has jar plus some metadata. That metadata helps you to manage that particular bundle, like starting, stopping, and uninstalling, deleting. Suppose you have in your project you have 10 bundles, 10 jar files, whatever. So you have 10 bundles. So when there is no use of 2 bundles in your project, in your application, you can uninstall those 2 bundles in OSA. That is a great capabilities that OSA has. So you can independently start, stop your bundles in OSA container. All the AEM system is managed by this OSA. Is that clear? Do you want me to repeat?
Could you repeat it again?
Can I repeat it again, or you are clear in this?
No, please repeat it.
Sure. See, in the Java concept, when you build any project, So basically what happens, it generates all jar files. But in AEM, so these jar files can be deployed to any server in order to work with the application. But when it comes to AEM, this is a jar that they are very common, like, we'll build only Java classes and all the basic. And then apart from that, you have some metadata. This we call a bundle in OSCA terminology. What is this metadata? So this metadata is basically, contains the information for bundle management. Bundle management means something. If we are managing something, we can manage that, like bundle management in the console here. We can start the bundle, we can stop the bundle, we can install it, we can uninstall it, we can refresh it, something like that. There are some features. So for Java, do not have life cycle. So once it is deployed, it will be deployed there, and you cannot do anything with that. But this has life cycle. Bundle has a life cycle. The life cycle in the sense this one. We can start, stop, install, refresh. We can do all these activities in the bundle. Whereas in the jar, we cannot do all these things. So the jar plus metadata is called a bundle, OSA bundle. I'll just show you. Don't get confused on how to go this screen and all. Just I'll show you. So these are our bundles. Suppose this is one bundle. If you see, suppose this is a bundle. You can see all this. When it start, if it is started, then it is stop. You can see stop, and then refresh, and then this update, this delete. These are all the life cycle of a bundle. Whereas this is also jar, but with some metadata. That metadata is providing all these features. We call it as a OSA bundle. When it goes to a jar, we do not have all these features. That is the advantage of this OSA bundle. So that's what it does in OSA. So basically, OSA bundle is nothing but a jar file with all classes and the business logic, and then of some metadata. This is the point. This OSA framework then offers you dynamic loading, unloading, configuration, and control of these bundles. Suppose in any one of your bundles, you need any information. I mean any settings. Like suppose any configurations. If you want to provide any configuration for the internal classes of the bundle, you can even provide the bundle configurations. That part is also one. These features, like I said, we can see the current status, the access more detailed information, the bundle information, something like this. If you want to see this, you can see all the bundle information here. What are all the imported packages, manifested loads, exported packages. Some additional information about the bundle, where you can see all this information in the jars. Development objects. Do you have any questions in OSA? Yeah, this is completely new, right? So the terminology itself looks complicated for you. As long as you get into the development, hands-on development, then only you will be clear on this. When you start developing this, you will come to know, okay, these are all very small. In the beginning of the thing, like it is a teaser, you cannot understand everything in a teaser, just the highlights. So development objects. So these are all just terminology what we use. Node, widget, dialog, component, template. These are just a terminology. Whatever we regularly use during our development and with what we play around in the product. This interfaces, let me show you some interfaces in this slide. If you want to create pages, this is where you can create pages. Suppose I'm creating one page, just clicking on this, going here, create new page, some demo page. I'm naming it demo page, and I'm just using this as a template. I'm just selecting this so that the page which is going to be created will use this design. Create. This is all existed set. You will come this with it will be given by the AEM students itself. So I just created the page. I'm opening it by double clicking. You will see some template. It's loaded. So you will see, you will get a page with headers and footers. So these are all the containers where you can drag and drop your components. Suppose I want to use a text component. Don't bother about what I'm doing here. Suppose I'm here and if I want to add any code, suppose I want to use an image, just image as so it's just drag and drop. You will get that image on your page. Suppose you want to include a text, some text here. You will get this text component, just double click on it, just open config. Just paste here. Okay. It will be shown. If you want to delete, if you want to add one more tab, you can add. This is all we call content. We are managing this content. We can add, we can delete, we can edit anything. That's why this is like, we call it as a content manager. Suppose we get a table. Table. In place. This table. Look at the table. Like that, actually, you have all there are a couple of built-in components. These are all comes with AEM product itself. So whatever that we are using here, the similar way we need to develop our components here. Those can be simply used on our page. This is one page and where we can add content, remove content, delete, and everything. So we can do all these kind of activities and create. So all these things are to be developed by humans. So this is one interface where we can create our pages and all. And if your site has any assets, the digital assets like your audios, videos, documents, all these can be placed in this. This is DAM administration. The first one is site administration, where your site can be handled, managed, like creation, deletion, and everything. And this is DAM administration. We regularly use these two, where you put all your project related what images, all media things. These two things we use extensively, and there are some other things. So we'll learn it during development. Some reference where you can find all some few additional basic things of AEM. And probably I'm done with this. If you have any questions, you can ask me. I'm ready to answer. If you ping me, you can ask me. Whatever the way you are convenient. Guys, do you sit all in the same room or just you are from different places?
We are in same room.
Okay, then why I ask this question? So if someone has to know, there might be no questions from others also. That's why. Thank you. Okay, thank you for your time, and I'm done with this session. So if you have any questions, you can ask me. Otherwise, you can ping me or you can take my email from Shiva, and you can just mail me if you have any questions at any time. Shiva, I'm done with the session actually.